two questions. And the first one, I have contrast, and I came to one of these 2 years ago, and I saw a guy, he said that he was happy with seeing contrast, and I thought, man, that's crazy. But now, I kind of understand it. I'm almost happy that I have contrast, almost.
When you go to the buffet, and there are many things to choose from, do you say, damn, so much to choose from? If there were just one thing there,
I'd be happy.
No contrast whatsoever, this would be a simple process. I'll just eat gizzards.
It feels good for me.
Contrast is a good thing, isn't it? Isn't variety a good thing? Isn't clarification a good thing?
Yes.
Isn't future a good thing?
It's great.
Isn't eternity a good thing? Isn't more a good thing?
Yes.
And so isn't the contrast that provides it a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so that guy wasn't crazy.
He wasn't crazy, and I realized that. I find myself that when I have this contrast now, and then I have a desire, and then I find something I really want, I get super excited about it.
Yeah? In that feeling of being super excited, it means you're in the moment on the trail. You are in the receiving mode, and what's being shown to you, you are likely to receive if you can maintain that feeling. And then?
I get myself so worked up about wanting to do because of the excitement. I have this extra energy.
If you're not getting yourself worked up, if you're just following inspiration and doing what you feel like doing, then you're still in sync. It's only when you try to hype it or fake it that it goes wrong.
Yeah, I try and hype it.
I don't do that. Let the enthusiasm for it be natural. You see, that's why we were saying that. So here's this vortex, and it's ripe, and it's yielding to you, and you're receiving. And sometimes the receiving feels like bouncing off the wall enthusiasm. So excited, you say. Sometimes it feels like interest. Sometimes it feels like satisfaction. Sometimes it feels like right place, right time. Sometimes it feels like interesting. Sometimes it just feels like an impulse to go over there instead of what you were planning to do before you felt like going over there. So we think that for you, an understanding of what the receptive mode really feels like and all the variety in the receptive mode and how it can feel will serve you. Because sometimes we know, you think that you got to get there and you got to demonstrate to the universe like you're applying for a job. I want you to know I'm enthusiastic about this job. And so you just act like a crazy person. And then they say to you or to others, it would have been really good, but too off the wall. And so just cool your jets and follow your impulses and trust that you will be able to maintain that mostly. So how do you feel about that statement?
Well, I had another question. I think it's probably the answer is, what am I so fearful of then?
Well, here's the thing. You're never fearful when you're in the receptive mode. But sometimes people who are in the receptive mode flip out of it fearful that they're not going to stay in it. You have an expression in your humandom that says, waiting for the other shoe to drop. This feels so good, but am I going to be able to keep this up? And what if it isn't real? And so you're just being too heady, thinking too much about it, trying too hard. Just accept the good feelings when they come. And when you feel like that, follow the feelings that are coming to you and sort of milk it. Sometimes it's helpful when you feel really enthusiastic, when you feel really high about something, to talk about how high you feel or how good it feels to feel this high or how great that thing was that happened that made you feel this way. Not like you're trying to convince somebody else and not like you're trying to convince yourself, because that would indicate that you're trying hard and that you don't really feel that way. You're trying to fake it. But when you really feel that way, just try to keep it going. Anything that is delicious and that you want to savor, you know what we're talking about? Anytime there's something that's delicious that you just want to keep it going and keep it going, that's really what you're reaching for. And don't hype it, because hyping it means that's the indication that you're fearful that you can't maintain it. And here's the fact. You can't maintain it, but you can get it back again. And you can't maintain that either, but it'll come back again. And you're not going to maintain that forever, but it'll come back again. You don't have to keep it going forever. You just have to more often feel that way than the opposite of it, and then things are going to start yielding. Helpful?
Yeah.
You having another thought about it?
Almost as if it's a normal process. Like
Ebb and flow. Ebb and flow. Because you can't maintain crystal clear clarity on anything. You could have an idea of something that is so clear that it just knocks your socks off in the moment that you first receive it. But if you hold yourself there, in time it will bore you. In time it won't be enough, or you'll just get tired of it. You see, just let it be.
It's almost the holding on, but really there's going to be more after you get
But holding
somewhere.
on with the fear that if you let go, you can't get it back, and you always can.
Something new, something better.
So feel how much more trusting it is. In other words, just molding it into place. Just molding it into place. Just figuring it out as you go. Just following the impulse. Taking right turns and wrong turns. Taking better feeling paths and not so good at feeling paths. Getting clearer all the while about what you want. The perfect experience is to be tuned in and get an impulse, and then let one of your old beliefs get in the way and feel the emotion and know you did it. And then think to yourself, well, I won't do that again. Esther says to herself, that was unnecessary. She'll say to herself right out loud, well, that was completely unnecessary. As she finds a thought that she can feel, puts the brakes on something that felt really good. You know, I didn't need to do that to myself. I could hold a thought that feels better. Yeah. But how are you going to do it? It's sort of like riding a bicycle. The first few times you twisted your ankle and skinned your knee and scraped your ankle on the pedal and tipped it over, and the first time you rode a bicycle, you didn't have instant balance. But once you got your balance, you're pretty sure that you're going to get back on it and be able to ride. Esther got on a bicycle the other day for the first time in 20 years. And she wasn't surprised that she could ride it, but her grandchildren were. They're shocked, like, Grandma, you didn't know you could ride a bicycle. Some things you just don't forget, and alignment is one of them. You don't forget it. Yeah?
Yep. Feels good.
Yeah. Enough?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. I'm a little nervous, if I'm honest, and I'm very, very grateful for your teaching, so thank you. I wrote down some questions anticipating that I would be here, so let me just take a breath for a second. I want to understand the importance of clarity on your desires, because what I've been taught and what I teach actually is it's really important to be clear on what it is you want to call into your life. But listening, go ahead.
Before you go further, we would like to clarify that just a little bit. We want to say it different. It's not so important that you be clear. Clarity is the natural evolution of focus without resistance.
Okay.
So clarity is just something that you accomplish when you don't have resistance. We would not make clarity a goal. We would let clarity be the emotional response to focus. We would say focus is what matters. Focus is what matters, and focus will accomplish the emotion of clarity, which is the indication of momentum on a subject with no resistance. Did you get that? Sort of?
Okay. And you've said that, you know, when you launched the rockets, really what we wanted was launched long ago. So I guess based on what you're saying now, it's more just coming into alignment with what you launched and getting rid of the resistance, and then the clarity's there.
While focus matters, attention to the way you feel is the fastest way to clarity. If you say, I'm going to find clarity, then you get kind of hyper involved, where you say, I'm going to think about that, 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 I'm going to think about that. And then you just get frustrated, where if you care about the way you feel and you're reaching for the best feeling that you can find, then momentum ensues, and then clarity is the result.
Okay.
So let's call clarity the result of focus even more than the goal. So what we're really talking about is letting your emotions be what you're reaching for. This is true. There is the thought, and then there is the emotional response. But when you're really driving hard for the thought in order to accomplish the emotional response, sometimes it gets crossways. And that's what we can feel happening here. That's what's underlying the question that you're offering.
Okay. So the guidance is just to focus more on the way I want to feel and the things that feel good, and just everything else will fall
Focus
into
softly on something that's easy to feel good when you focus on it. And let law of attraction take that soft, easy focus into clarity.
Okay.
Can you feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Focus softly on something that's easy. And the reason it's easy is because there's no resistance. And the reason that we say softly is because you're picking a subject that isn't difficult. So you're starting out with no resistance. Anytime, this is your answer, anytime you focus on anything, and let's make it easy and general and soft and easy. Anytime you focus on anything without resistance, it will gather momentum and it will become clarity. But if you're shooting for clarity, first crack out of the box, you're probably not going to find it.
Okay. Because it's new to me. And I was listening a few months ago, and I'd heard you say, you don't need clarity. All your desires have been launched a long time ago. So that was a really aha moment.
Well, what happens to a lot of people, because they want to set goals.
Mm-hmm.
So they pick things that they want that they don't have, not realizing that in picking something that they really, really want, that they really, really don't have, that they're working really, really hard against themselves because they're activating a lot of resistance. So then it takes a really long time and then they get discouraged. Where if you're just focusing upon the things that are easy to focus on and feel good about, and you do it consistently so that you're gathering momentum, then clarity comes to you.
Okay.
That was a good conversation.
Thank you.
Something else?
Yes. A couple things. So I have written a novel that I really want to help serve a lot of people and to crack people open to higher purpose and divine communication in a really fun and interesting way. And I launched the novel in the fall, and I've done my best to just take my hands off the wheel, focus on things that are working, and let it go, and things are going well. So my question to you is just, and even though you're speaking to me, I know you'll be speaking to everyone in the room too.
We're speaking to you.
Okay. Just any advice on ways that I can align to serve on a bigger, higher level with ease?
The same creative energy that you tapped into,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that some of the segments of that book flowed, and some of them you struggled hard on.
Okay.
And the results are very good. We're not implying that the struggle didn't eventually turn to greater ease, but you know what we're talking about.
Yes.
So once you've had that experience of having to come into alignment in order for something good to come, you want to apply the same process now to the allowing of it to be received or understood by others. So you said something to us that we want to focus on just for a moment about cracking other people open to what? What do you want to crack them open to?
To their own truth and to the reality that...
But you see, what we're talking about here is the same thing that we were talking about in your first question.
Okay.
Cracking open is so much harder than it needs to be.
Okay.
It's like most things that you crack open never really get put back together quite right.
Right.
There's a softer, gentler way of going about it. But a lot of people think that they just need to be jolted into the awareness that things could be better. We would encourage you to understand that there are those who are exactly ready for what you have written.
Okay.
And just softly ask and trust that law of attraction will match those people up with what you are offering there.
Okay.
You see what we're getting at?
Yes.
Because in sales, and almost everything is to some degree, most people approach it from the standpoint that I need to find a very severe need in you, which I will fill with this. And so you need to be cracked open in order to discover the important, but most of them, once they're cracked open, they don't survive.